We've all heard the stories of people who were mistakenly declared dead, only to turn up alive at their own funerals. While this may seem like something that only happens in movies or urban legends, it's actually happened quite a few times throughout history. Here are some of the fascinating stories of people who turned up alive at their own funerals. If you have got a thirst for knowledge that never quits, then subscribe to our channel. Also, don't forget to smash the subscribe button and click the notification bell for more amazing content. So without further ado, let's get this video started. Number 6. The woman who woke up and then really died. When Fadjali Mukhamatsianov of Kazan, Russia, had a heart attack at home in 2011, she was taken to the hospital right away. But it looks like the trip was for nothing because she was soon said to be dead. The story that comes next, however, has both good and bad parts. What's good? She wasn't dead. A few days later, when she was at her own funeral and lying in her coffin, she woke up. She quickly figured out what was going on when she saw that everyone around her was crying and praying for her. She reportedly started screaming, which is understandable, and she was quickly taken back to the hospital. But the shock of what had happened had a negative effect. Fadjali Mukhamatsianov, her husband, said that her eyes flapped. But she only lived for another 12 minutes in intensive care before she died again, this time for good. In the end, heart failure was listed as the cause of death. Number 5. The woman who faced the husband who had ordered her dead. In 2016, Nola Rukundo's story was in the news all over the world. She lived in Australia, but she went back to Burundi to go to her stepmother's funeral. She didn't know it, but her husband had set up hitmen to kill her while she was there, and they did. But these were hitmen who cared about people. When they found out that Rukundo's own husband had told them to kill her, they set her free. She flew home and confronted her husband about his plan at her own funeral. At the end of 2015, he was given a 9-year prison sentence. Number 4. The man who came to his funeral on the last day. In 2016, a government airstrike near Damascus, Syria, killed more than 100 people. It seems that Mohammed Rayhan was one of those killed. He was at the local market, which took the brunt of the blast, and was probably dead because he was buried under the rubble. Only half of that turned out to be true. Rayhan's family and friends planned his funeral, which took place without his body a few days later. But when the man himself showed up, it was a very pleasant surprise for his friends and family. After the explosion, Rayhan was buried under the rubble for 36 hours, but he was able to dig himself out in the end. When he got to his funeral, he still had pieces of the rubble stuck in his hair and beard. Number 3. The man who came to his own funeral drunk. When Edison Vicuna, an Ecuadorian man, disappeared for 3 days, his friends and family thought the worst. Even more so when the body of a man was found whose face had been badly scared in a car accident. A post-mortem was done, and it was found that the body was Vicuna's. But it wasn't true. Vicuna showed up drunk at his funeral, making the people there screaming in horror. As you might expect, the funeral was stopped, and the body was taken back to the morgue, where it was found to belong to someone else. Number 2. The waiter who became alive again. In 2012, Hamdi Hafez Al-Nubi, then 28 years old, worked as a waiter in Luxor, Egypt. One day, he had a heart attack while he was working, and it looked like he had died. He was pronounced dead, and his family took his body home, washed it according to Islamic customs, and got it ready for his burial at the end of the week. The doctor who was sent to sign the final death certificate noticed that Al-Nubi was still alive. When he saw that the body was still warm, he looked at it more closely and saw that Al-Nubi was still breathing. He quickly told the man's mother, and what was supposed to be his funeral became a party. Number 1. The man who got 2 weeks more. Walter Williams, who was 78 years old and from Mississippi, died on February 26, 2014. CNN said that the right paperwork was filled out. His body was put in a body bag, and he was taken to a funeral home. Williams didn't make it to his funeral, though, because his legs started to move when his body was taken to the room where it would be preserved. The coroner then saw that he was barely breathing. He was still alive. As it turned out, it was only a short break. About 2 weeks after that, he died for real. The family made sure twice. His nephew said, "I think he's gone this time." So the next time you're feeling down about yourself, remember that you're not dead yet. And as long as you're alive, there's still time to turn your life around and write a better story for yourself. Who knows, maybe one day you will even show up at your funeral, alive. What are your thoughts on the video? Let us know in the comments. If you like this video, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for your time. We'll see you later.